Hey y'all, it's Ari, and today I'm going live to talk about 3 simple ways to make more time for yourself. 3 simple ways to make more time for yourself. So, I feel like that this is so important because our us being able to show up as our best version of ourselves requires us to make time for ourselves because life is set up to have as many temptations and as many distractions that can tempt you and distract you for the rest of your life. So we have to be willing to really take that time away because not often will time just allow itself to make its way for what is important to you. So, in this video, basically, I'm going to share 3 simple ways to make it easier for you to take that time for yourself and some perspective shifts that I think is really what is needed because it's not about us actually just making our time for ourselves, but it's being consistent, and that requires a different mindset to have. So, if you are looking for more consistency, making more time for yourself, learning how to be able to do this, then type I'm ready in the comment section below. And good morning to whoever is here right now. So, I already talked about the benefit for you guys, which is being able to show up as a better mother, a better spouse, a better or partner, a better coworker, a better employee, all these things, a better leader in your life, all these things wrap around you and making time for yourself. But in life, we normalize people pleasing to the point where we don't even really do what we need to do for ourselves, and we're not even actually pleasing other people if we're not doing what we need to do for ourselves. So the first the first simple way to be able to make more time for yourself is to don't overthink it. Don't overthink what does making time for yourself look like. So I think a lot of the times people are like, well, I really want to be able to get an hour to myself in the tub, away, or quiet time, or things like that. So I would say first, don't overthink what that looks like. Not at all. Because it's going to look different from day to day. And I feel like when you're able to be open to the differences of what time for yourself looks like, then you'll be able to accept and be grateful for what is naturally occurring in your life. So I would say don't overthink it and be grateful for what you do get. So if that is just 5 minutes alone, if that is a a time alone in the shower, then if that's just journaling by yourself, if it even if it is 5 minutes, even if it is 10 minutes, like accept that, be grateful for that, express your gratitude when you are doing that. I actually want to backtrack a little bit because I feel that the first one should be to ask God for assistance. I put that as the last one because it was like a bonus, but I would backtrack and be like, the first thing that you should do is ask God for assistance. So pray about it and be open. So back to another video that I did about meditating and the importance of when you ask for guidance to stay in a state of openness when you are trying to receive that guidance, because it will come in different times. It may not come in that meditation, it may not come in that prayer, it may not come in that day. So you have to be willing to be open and looking for different signs and synchronicities and things that will work out to allow you to have more time for yourself. So first, ask God, pray about it, like, hey, Big G, I am wanting to make more time for myself and I really don't know how. If you can please help me remove the barriers in my mind that is keeping me from making that time for myself, I would love for you to do so. And just remain open that day. Look for little things that will give you little clues and signs and hints as to how you can um, be better and making more time for yourself. So I think that is the biggest one, and it is the first one, and then everything after that kind of it everything falls into place after that. So then it is, don't overthink what it looks like and be grateful for the time that you do receive, because when you do receive, when you are grateful for the time that you do get, you're able to open doors to make more time for yourself. So the third thing is to stick to your boundaries and respect other people's boundaries. So I feel that this is a big, like, people really don't realize this, but when we are trying to set boundaries, I feel like, at least for me and the clients that I've worked with and the people that I work with, we don't really realize how we're overstepping other people's boundaries. So, and then there are temptations for us to overstep other people's boundaries. So, for example, I was at work. I think that this is the biggest thing. Like, my job requires a lot out of me, and I have to set boundaries. And my biggest boundary is that I do not talk when I am not on the clock. Like, I do not answer work texts when I am not on the clock. So, um, so many times I was getting texts to, like, answer things outside of the time that I am on the clock. So I had to not respond to things off the clock and do that consistently. So respect your boundaries. Not just saying one thing and then as soon as the temptation comes up, then you go and you don't respect your own boundary. People are paying attention to that. Even if the people that don't seem like that they pay attention to most things, they are paying attention to when you don't do what you say you're gonna do. So people love to call people out on that. So just make sure that you are really sticking to it. Know that temptations will come. Anytime that you are deciding to do something different to amplify your life, the temptations to not do that will come. So I was getting, I got irritated one time. I was talking to my friend, like, why is it like, I tell them I do not like talking about work off the clock, and yet I get all these texts off the clock. And so my friend was like, well, how do you think you're going to be able to exercise not talking to them when you're off the clock if you aren't giving the opportunity to not talk to them off the clock, right? So just know, y'all, that when you are trying to make time for yourself, you will get a lot of different, you will get a lot of opportunities and temptations to not make time for yourself. That is normal. That is not, it is not even really so God is testing you. It's just that you're in a habit. You're in a habit, and other people are in a habit of relating to you this way. So they don't know when you establish something different that, you're sticking to it or that you're serious about it. You have to show them that you're serious about it. And that means being like, nope, I have been wanting to work on myself. In your mind, even though you told them like last week or the day before, they need that reminder. So stick to your boundaries and respect other people's boundaries as well. So, and then in the respecting other people's boundaries, it may not even be that, at least for me, I go the extra mile. So if I'm not going to talk to people off the clock, I'm not going to reach out to them when they're off the clock. I'm not. Even if there are some people that be like, you can reach out to me when I'm off the clock. Usually when I do that, or anytime I listen to what people say, they get irritated or they want to throw it back in your face on how, you don't talk to people off the clock, and so, but you're calling me off the clock. Now remembering that they said that it was okay for you to do that. So I just kind of treat people the way I would like to be treated. So if I know someone is not at work, I just don't reach out to them. And when I'm not at work, I don't respond. So a person can't say that, or can't support you or respect you making more time for yourself when you aren't giving them that same kind of space as well. So I would say that. And even if it doesn't look like, I would keep it at the the boundary should be extended to each person. So let's say you don't talk to people outside of work. I'm not going to reach out to my coworkers when they're not at work. But also just respecting their boundaries in general, like not being too nosy, not, just doing too much. Like, you know what overstepping other people's boundaries are. That's why you're here. So just try to respect people's boundaries as much, and I feel like that they will respect your boundaries as well. And that leads me, it's kind of like piggybacking off of this, accept that you will disturb people. And I think that that is the biggest mindset shift. Whenever you are making more time for yourself, people will not get it, because society does not allow people to make more time for themselves. Like, that's not normal in society, so people don't get it. I see that there are people on here, but I don't see who is on here. So good morning to whoever is on here. So with the accept that people, that you will disturb people. So I think that people don't really understand that when they are making more time for themselves, that they are going to piss some people off. People are not going to like it. People are not going to get it. They're going to try to overstep your boundaries, and you have to be the one that's going to be consistent with it and letting them know, like, this is actually serious. So good morning, Christina. Love you too. So just be true to that. Understand that it will pass away over time, or it will pass over time with disturbing other people. Eventually, when they get to understand that this is just how you are, and it's nothing personal to them, and you treat everybody the same, you are not giving leeway to your boundary or making more time for yourself for specific people. Of course, if it's like your mom or something, or your child, and you have to, then fine. But for the most part, you have to stay consistent and congruent with what you are saying, so that people can learn to respect and understand, and not take it personal with you making more time for yourself. So, and it will be hard. My job be needing me at times. And like, for example, we had this beach yoga event on a Saturday. I'm off on Saturdays. Now, I wanted to go to the event. I want to take the class. Like, I don't want to always be teaching and managing the front desk. I want to be able to get the benefits of the job that I work for as well. And I want to be able to take classes as well. And I want to experience doing yoga at the beach as well, or on the lake. So we needed about like 5 people to work that day, and it was 150 people that was going to be showing up to the beach yoga event. 175, I think. And they were asking me, could I work? And I was like, my boss know, the owner, she knows at this point. She was like, I already know Ariana gonna say no, like, but still acts in a way. Well, I already know that she's off. Like, she knows that I'm off. This is gonna be an event that requires a lot of energy and effort, and I want to be able to experience, like, you can't be mad at somebody for that. You can't be mad at somebody for that. So just now the owner understands, but for her to even make that comment, like, I already know she's not going to say, yeah, maybe still ask, then they're able to respect that. Now, at first, people will be frustrated. I'm pretty sure both of my bosses, like the owner and the general manager, they probably was really upset when I first started doing it. Like, dang, Ari is not available. Like, dang. But then they know that when I do show up, this is why this is so important. When I do show up, I show out. I hit my numbers. I'm present with people. I'm grounded. I'm happy. I'm peaceful. I'm there. I'm there. And I think, like, that's why I'm saying, like, this is so important for you guys, because you have to remember that you are doing these things so that you can show up better. If people see that you are, that making time for yourself is helping you be a better parent, be a better partner, be a better coworker, be a better employee, be a better boss, be a better leader, then they're able to give you that time there. Even though they may not like it, they like, well, if she's gonna show up to work, or if when she works, she's gonna, hit these numbers and da 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 da, like, they'll be able to respect that. Now, let's say you're making time for yourself, and then when you show up, you're still just as bad as you was before you showed up, before you made time for yourself. Then why are we trying to be understanding, or how are you going to expect other people to hold space for you, understand you, things like that, if when you do take that time for yourself, it's not showing any results? Like, it has to be showing results. So that's how you make time for yourself. I can go over quickly again. So ask God for assistance. The first thing is to ask God to help you out and remain open. Be open to the guidance that will come. It may not come at the time that you ask, or that meditation, or that day, but just be open. Second thing, don't overthink what it looks like to make more time for yourself, and be grateful for whatever time that you make for yourself. Even if it's just 5 minutes, even if it's just, I said I was gonna read a chapter or a section out of my book, but I only got to read one page and I was like so sleepy and I just went to sleep after that. Or I said that I was gonna wake up at 5 a.m., but I ended up waking at 5:45. I still got some time in for myself. It was only 15 minutes. Like, I didn't, but what we tend to do is go into, I said I was going to wake up at 5 o'clock. I woke up at 5:45. I only had 15 minutes. Instead of thinking like, but you woke up, but you made time for yourself. So we have to get out of the habit of looking at, get out of the habit of looking at where we fell short, and looking at and capitalizing and focusing on what we did great. And then the third thing is to stick to your boundaries and respect other people's boundaries. And know it's kind of tied in all into the third one. And know that you will disturb people. So know that you will disturb people, stick to your boundaries, and respect other people's boundaries. That is all in the third one, because it's all looped together. So accept that you would ruffle some feathers initially, especially if you're new at doing this, or you're establishing, well, this is for making time for yourself. So this is a boundary. This particular boundary, if it's new for you to be doing it more consistently, expect that you will ruffle some people's feathers, because they are in a habit with you as well. So they have to be able to have some time to adjust. So accept that you will, stick to your boundaries. So know that there will be temptations for you not to stick to your boundary. That is part of the process. In order for you to apply something, you have to have something to apply it to, right? So you have to be able to be tempted to not make time for yourself in order to implement making time for yourself, okay? And then respect other people's boundaries. So I would say, if you want to make more time for yourself, because this is the specific boundary, if you want to make time for yourself, or you're trying to make more time for yourself, allow other people to have time for themselves. Maybe relieving people, or suggesting like, hey, like, I can watch the baby, or I can or telling your coworkers and things like, take a break. It's okay. I got you. Like, or, maybe some people need the permission to do it, especially if we are in if we are in positions of leadership. We have to be able, like I tell my employees all the time, like, it's okay, take a break. Or if they're eating and they're trying to eat and work at the same time, no, you don't have to, eat your food. Or if you're eating and then the phone rings, you don't have to answer that phone. Like, you're on break. Like, if you're on break and the somebody pulls on the door, or they're trying to come in, like, you don't have to answer that door. I kind of go somewhere else in my space so that I'm not seen taking my break, because when people see you, they think you're available. So I would say that respect other people's boundaries, and give the person the space to make time for themselves too. Because if we're being the leaders, we're being the person that's gonna do this, we have to be able to show them, and they may not get it. They may not know how to be able to do it. So by you leading by example, by making time for yourself, and accepting that everybody is not going to understand, everybody is not going to be for it, and allowing other people to make time for themselves, suggesting, seeing where there may be a gap in their life where they can do it, and then they do. Don't if I don't like to be responded to when I get off of work, I'm not gonna text people when they're off of work. So I gotta do the extra step of going to the schedule and checking to see the person I'm gonna reach out to. Are they on shift, or are they at the other location? Are they working today at the other location? Things like that. So, and if they are, I'm gonna have to wait. I'll write me a little sticky note and be like, reach out to Ari and tell her this tomorrow, like, so that I can remind myself. So, yeah. And this benefits you because then you're able to show up better. People are able to respect you. People are able to respect your time. And you'll be more present and grounded in your interactions because you pour into yourself. I have another story where I didn't go to the beach yoga event. So that's another part of the story. So I was going to go to the beach yoga event. I didn't go because, well, I was going to go, and then I didn't work the event because I know it was going to be a lot. Now, at the last minute, like the days before the event, the owner of the place that I work at, she set a 5-hour meeting with me, her, and my direct boss right above me. 5-hour meeting. So I'm off on Fridays and Saturdays. Now I would have went, and the meeting was supposed to be on that Monday. So I'm off Fridays and Saturdays. She set the meeting for that Monday for 5 hours. I chose not to go to the beach yoga event that Saturday because I did not want to be around them. Honestly. Like, it's not nothing bad. It's just, and not saying that they are negative. I know myself, and I know if I'm overly stimulated or consistently seeing people over and over again, I'm not gonna be having the space to be present with you. Like, I just saw you Thursday when I was at work, and then I was off Friday. I saw you again on Saturday. I saw you again on Sunday, and then I spent 5 hours with you on Monday. No. Like, if that means that now something else in my schedule has to shift, or it looks as though I'm not being a woman of my word because I said I was going to go, something came up. I'm not going anymore because I now need to pour into myself and spend some time by myself to prepare myself for this 5-hour dense meeting that I'm about to have. So I still did yoga. I went somewhere else. I spent time talking with my mom. We laughed and stuff, and it was a very nourishing, fulfilling conversation. And I was present and I was ready to, go into that 5-hour meeting. So, and she could have saw that. Now, let's say I didn't go to beach yoga. I didn't, I truly didn't make time for myself, even though I said that that's what I was doing. I would have showed up to that meeting and I wouldn't have been able to function. I would have, in whatever ways, I would have been distracted or whatever. I just wouldn't have been able, I probably would have been irritated. I probably would have got tired faster because my cup wasn't full. My cup was empty. So let me know if you guys have any questions on this. And yeah, write in the comments below. I'm ready. If you want to be able to make more time for yourself, learn how to make more time for yourself, and have somebody that is going to support you and hold you accountable and making more time for yourself, click the link below, the 15-minute self-love clarity call. We'll see like what's going on in your life and why you're not able to make that time for yourself as you wish that you could, and then we'll roadmap and figure out a quick plan for you. And if we feel like that it would be better to work together on a more long-term basis, or that you need a more long-term support, then we'll talk about enrolling you into my self-love prescription program, or my coaching program. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you all who showed up. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll still be available after the live to answer any questions you may have. And yeah, peace out.